Hey guys, Brent Hull, Old House Journal. Today we're going to be talking about hand tools. Let's say you just bought your first house, you bought an historic house, you got some work you need to do, you're going to go to the Ace Hardware or Lowe's or somewhere and you're going to go find some tools. Which one should you buy? Which one should be first? Today in Old House Journal video. Okay, so let's say you bought an old house, let's say it's 100 years old and you've got to work on it. You're going to go to the tool store, you're going to go to the hardware store, you're going to buy some tools. Which tools should you buy first? We're going to do power tools on a different video. This is just hand tools. Now, I'm going to go through 4 or 5 of them, and it's all based on the assumption you're not doing heavy electrical, right? You're not doing demo, okay? You can buy a sledgehammer, you can watch HGTV. That's not what we're about, okay? We're about restoring and carefully fixing our houses, not tearing down walls. So there's no demo tools here. But first tool I will talk about is a hammer. Now, hammers come in all different sizes and shapes. This is a 16-ounce heart hammer, okay? S-Wing is another good one, but you're gonna want something between a 14 to 16-ounce hammer. 12 gets a little bit light. The nice thing about a 16-ounce hammer is if you have to do framing, if you have to do heavier work, you've got a hammer that works, and it's not too light and too dainty, and you get some stuff done. They come with 2 kinds of claw hammers, okay? They've got the straight claw hammer, and they've got the curved claw hammer. Curved claw hammer, if you're going to be pulling a lot of nails, we'll talk about that coming up. But notice too that the face of this hammer is very smooth. That's very important. Framing hammers typically have a waffle head here. You do not want a waffle head hammer because most of the hammering you're going to do, let's say you're reattaching some trim, you do not want to leave these waffle head marks on your trim. Second tool is also very simple. It's just a retractable blade knife. Now, the reason why this is so important is before you pull anything off the wall, you need to cut the paint lines, okay? You're cutting caulk lines, you're cutting that old stuff, okay? Because those are the things that if you try to pull a piece of molding off the wall, it will rip and splinter and you're like, what is going on? You've got to cut the paint and caulk lines first. This is a must. It's something I always carry in my bags. Now, the next selection of little tools here are pry bars. Now, you can get really heavy pry bars, like crowbar kind of pry bar. But what you're wanting is something that's very thin on the edge, okay? It's very thin up here because what you're going to be doing is you are going to be prying behind moldings, and you want to be as thin a profile as possible. Let's say you've just cut that line, you want to pry in there and start slowly working that molding off the wall very carefully. Maybe you take this to knock it behind there, right? But that's how you're carefully peeling it off the wall. This is a 5-way, okay? This is a painter's tool, but you notice there's a hard back on the end. I use this tool quite a bit. It's very flexible, it can be used for a lot of different things. This is a little cutting edge to cut the paint line. I use this as a pry bar sometimes, but notice this group of 5 little pry bars, they're not very big. This is the biggest one. It's a Stanley Fat Max, but I got it just because I've got good prying lever there. But again, I'm looking for a very thin line to get behind my moldings. Buy some screwdrivers, okay, but because your house is pre-1940, you most likely will not need a Phillips head screwdriver, okay? Buy the packet of screwdrivers, but you definitely want this small one because if you're working on any hardware in your house, there's a flat head screwdriver that you will need to take a doorknob off a door or something, but you will need a small screwdriver just like that. Now, let me make a quick plug for American-made tools. Do not buy cheap tools, okay, made in another country, okay? Buy tools that are made in America. Why is that? The only difference between someone who's really good and someone who isn't, okay, someone who's experienced and someone who isn't, besides the experience, is the quality of the tools, okay? The things that make professionals professionals, the quality of their tools. Buy good tools, okay? It might cost you $3 more to buy an American-made wrench, but it's worth it. This tool will last a lifetime. Buy good tools. And I don't know if I can stress that enough. My daughter was working on her toilet in Nashville on an historic house, and she had 1 plier, okay? And she was trying to take the bottom of the float off the bottom of her tank. And we're FaceTiming, I'm looking at a video. She's got 2 nuts that are right together, okay? And I go, where's your other plier? She had a good set of pliers, but she only had 1. So if you're gonna buy them in a set, okay? They come in small, medium, large. You need more than one to work on the different tasks, plumbing especially being the one you need to work on. Snips, okay? Now, I'm not promoting that you do any electrical work, but you might think that you're cutting wires and stuff like that. I use these all the time for nails, okay? Let's just say you've just taken a board off the wall, you've got the nails sticking out, right? You do not hammer those nails out back through the face of the board. It'll blow out the face of that wood. Why? Because there's putty and all kinds of things covering the head of that nail. You need to actually pull that nail through the back of the board. This is what you do it with. You grab it on the back of the board, you hold it tight, and then you bend it out and you pull out your nails that way. These are must-have tools for the old house worker. This is an awl, okay? I'm protecting everybody with this sharp point, with this little foam head, but this is an awl. And why would you need this? If you're putting hardware back on a door, or you have this scutcheon on your lock and it's all warped out and you don't have anywhere to stick your screw, you will need an awl, okay? And you'll press it down into the wood and you'll push that hole and it'll give you a starter hole, okay? It'll give you a place to start your hardware so that you don't strip out your tools. This is a English-made tool. You might have to find something like a Woodcraft or Lee Valley or something like that. Speaking of hardware, you need some Allen wrenches, okay? These two are really more part of a modern way of how hardware is connected, but these are handy tools to keep around for plumbing, for hardware, for different things like that. And then finally, a vice grip, okay? Because inevitably, you're gonna come across a set of plumbing pipes that have been warbled out, okay? There's no teeth there, there's no thread there for you to grab, and you gotta clamp down on something to open it up, and you'll need a pair of vice grips. Now, I've got these two planes here, and they're a low-angle block plane. And if you are inclined to get some better tools and start building your collection, this low-angle block plane is a great plane, okay? This is your first plane you should buy. Think of cabinet doors that are sticking, or doors in hallways or bedrooms that are sticking. Sometimes that wood is just hitting that jamb, and you need a plane like this to just rub off just the corner of that door so that it opens smoothly. A low-angle block plane, a Stanley, the one's made in England, or a Lee Nelson plane. Beautiful. These things are gems. It's something you should definitely own. So notice that the tools I've got for you here are careful demolition tools. They are carefully prying around, working on your house. There are no, jackhammers. I'm not recommending 50-pound sledges, right? Because you own an historic house, we need to keep as much of that product as possible. These are the hand tools you should buy. Good American-made tools, tools that will last a long time, multiple sets of them so that you have more than one. Good tools to get you a good start. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Hull Millwork, Hull Homes. A lot of behind-the-scenes things we're doing, teaching you about tricks, about making your old house better. I'm Brent Hull. Thanks for watching.